It's 2024 and we finally got updates on the return of MultiVersus. Now, I really love MultiVersus. It wasn't perfect, but it sure as hell was a solid experience. There's a lot of love put into it, and I really like the many ideas it brings, especially the perk system and the great emphasis on 2v2 combat. Now, as a huge enjoyer of platform fighters, I would say I'm very excited, and I'm hoping that a lot of others are optimistic as well. Now, I'm not saying you have to like the games, but gosh, the platform fighter community is so toxic. Everybody's shitting on each other's games, and like, come on now. We should be excited that the genre is expanding. But anyway, with word of a new PvE mode coming out, new content from Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls joining the fray, and even Animaniacs, it's looking to be a pretty promising start of a relaunch. And there's even Happy Meals. Bro, they already got this stuff on eBay. So with MultiVersus coming back in full force, that means speculation is also coming back. I've been doing a lot of research online and I've come across many wish lists. Hell, this guy wanted the Cookie Monster playable and I'm not mad at it. Tony, go ahead and do your thing and put him in the game. And looking at all these wish lists online made me think, why not make one yourself, Fire Bro? And that is what I'm gonna do here today. In this video, I'm gonna list my top 10 most wanted characters that I would love to see playable in MultiVersus. And while you're watching, comment down below your top 10 and let me know if we have any in common. A few more things I want to mention before we start. A few characters on this list are not directly owned by Warner Brothers, but they have close ties to them, and I feel like they would fit the game. And also, this list is unordered. I really just randomly thought of these characters. There's no preference to them. I just love to see any of these people come in. And with that, I feel like this intro has been long enough, so let's get started. Number 10. That's right, everybody, Daffy Duck. Now, I already know MultiVersus has a good amount of Looney Tunes content at this time, having characters like Bugs Bunny, the Tasmanian Devil, Marvin the Martian, LeBron James, and the fact that Daffy Duck isn't included is quite despicable. Being the second most popular Looney Tunes character after Bugs, I'm kinda surprised he isn't in already. And he, just like the other Looney Tunes characters, have a lot of easy moveset potential. Being able to utilize a lot of random gadgets and references, it's gonna make for a very funny moveset. A fan of the game even ended up making custom animations of Daffy if he were hypothetically in the game, and they look really good. The developers took notice of this and actually ended up hiring this guy, and he works on MultiVersus now, which means some of these animations might actually end up being real at some point, and I'm just really amazed at that. The costume potential is also there, but one that I really think they should add is a Duck Dodgers costume. That would be absolutely fire. Plus, since Daffy Duck is kind of a jerk, his voice lines against other characters would be hysterical. I'm hoping Daffy Duck can join the fray at some point. I'm pretty sure he will, but it's still a shocker that it hasn't happened yet. But anyway, let's move on to our next character. Number 9. Now, you might be wondering, if I were to add another superhero on the roster, who would I pick? Now, I would go for one of the Teen Titans, more specifically Raven, but it has come to my attention that apparently she's in the game's files. So let's go for my second choice, Beast Boy. I mean, seriously, it's freaking Beast Boy. How could you not want him in the game? With an entire moveset based on animal transformations, you can't tell me that won't make a sick moveset. Now, I don't know if they'd make it to where he gets a full moveset depending on what animal he turns into, or if he just uses different animal instincts depending on the move input. Nevertheless, it's still a very fun idea, and I hope that they incorporate that at some point. Playing as Nigel Thornberry and Nick Brawl really makes me appreciate animal-like movesets in fighting games, and I surely hope that they can do that with Beast Boy and MultiVersus. Now, let's move on to our next character. Number 8. Now, one company that always comes to mind when it comes to Warner Brothers and collaborations, it has to be LEGO. This brand has so much to pull from that I can't even think about what character I would add. I just feel like something from LEGO needs to come in. They could choose a character from the Lego Movie, or Lego City Undercover, or even Ninjago. There's no misses here. It would definitely make a lot of people happy, so let's hope we could see it at some point. Now, moving on. Number 7. You know who else should be playable in MultiVersus? Mordecai and Rigby, the bird and raccoon main characters of regular show. I just really love the show and I feel like these two definitely deserve a spot. Even though the name of the show is regular show, there's always some bullcrap going on. These two always slack off and it results in some weird supernatural crap that they have to deal with. And sometimes they have to end up throwing hands. And they are absolutely capable of doing that. These two would make a really good duo fighter, and with the amount of weird lore and references that the show has, you can make a really good moveset with these two. With Death Kwon Do, golf carts, there's no doubt these two would make a really good fighter. Now, moving on. Number 6! Ed, Edd, and Eddy is a massive part of our childhoods, and I feel like they would make great additions to the roster. These three characters could work like the Pokemon trainer in Smash Bros., where each Ed has their own stats and individual movesets, but you can freely swap between them in matches. With Ed being a slow, heavy character relying on just random slapstick, with Double D being an average speed character, most of his attacks would probably consist of accidentally hitting opponents or just kinda gadgets like water guns and such, given the fact that he's a pacifist. While Eddy would be the glass cannon, a super fast and strong character with really bad defense, but he has a very good moveset consisting of the many scams he pulls. Having all three of them in there as a 3-in-1 fighter would be really cool, but if that's too much work, they could always just add Ed in, because he would probably make the most sense as a solo fighter if they were to put one in first. Either way it goes, it would be awesome to see some representation from the show get into the game at some point. I would love it, a lot of others would too. And yeah, let's move on to our next character. Number 5. So, you guys like Popeye? Not the chicken place, but Popeye the Sailor Man. Popeye would fit perfectly on the MultiVersus roster. Being a bruiser type class character, obviously, he would attack with his good old fisticuffs. He could also have a spinach mechanic where maybe for his down special he could pull out a can of spinach and eat it, bringing a lot of power to his punches. Bruiser type characters are always my favorites to play as, and I know Popeye would probably be annoying to fight, but I don't care, I'm all for it. Hopefully someday we could see our favorite Sailor Man pack some punches in MultiVersus, but until then, let's move on to our next fighter. Number 4. Now, what's something you can go get at the store for 25 cents? Probably a Gumball. And yeah, Gumball is the next character on my list. The Amazing World of Gumball is a very funny show, and it has a lot of good humor and very interesting art styles. With the amount of gimmicks and pop culture references in the show, you can easily make Gumball an awesome wildcard mage class character. Oh, and also his mom is just insanely powerful. She can make a good fighter too. All in all, Gumball or pretty much any character from his universe would make a really good addition to the roster. The movesets would be chaotic and the animations would be hysterical. And now, let's move on to our final 3. Number 3! So, most of the characters on the list so far are from TV shows or comic books, but now we're gonna jump into some new territory. Video games. And that character? Maxwell from Scribblenauts. And the best part about it is, it's not even an out-of-pocket pick, because the series is actually owned by Warner Brothers. Scribblenauts is basically a series of games where you control a character named Maxwell who can summon anything with a notebook. People, animals, monsters, vehicles, gadgets, weapons. The possibilities for moveset potential is pretty much endless. Now, they aren't gonna make a whole moveset where you can just randomly grab a keyboard and type out a bunch of stuff to spawn in-game. That's gonna take too much work, and you won't really be able to optimize that easily for every device that MultiVersus is playable on. But that doesn't mean you can't make a moveset with all these weapons and utilize them well. If you've never played Scribblenauts before, I highly recommend it. Then you would understand why I want Maxwell as a playable character. It would just be incredible. Well, there's only 2 more characters to talk about, so let's move on to our next one. Number 2! How many of you recognize this music? Now, if you do recognize it, you've probably heard it from the TV show Mad. Based off the magazines, Mad is a sketch comedy show, and they make fun and parody a lot of pop culture.
Do you know who did this to Backpack? Gracias!
Holy shit, this show is wild. The most popular segments in pretty much every form of Mad has to be the Spy vs. Spy series, a comic book and animated segment that features 2 mysterious spies as they fight each other in good old-fashioned slapstick. Now, Matt had some funny sketches, but let's be real, these two were the main reason to even watch the show. Even though Spy vs. Spy was a segment that only lasted like 20 seconds at most, this hilarious yet action-packed series is probably the best part of Mad, and I'm talking about the entire franchise. I could see these two spies working like Tom and Jerry, where they're a 2-in-1 fighter, but their whole gimmick is attacking each other but working together at the same time. With all the different weapons, it would make for an incredible moveset, and also the laugh would be a beautiful taunt. And with that leaves us with one more character. Number 1! Godzilla, the final character on my wish list. The giant and insanely powerful monster that is capable of pure destruction. He wouldn't even look too out of place either, because with the Iron Giant, they proved that characters can be giant and playable. Plus, if you couldn't tell, I like to play as reptiles and platform fighters, and I'm still waiting on my MultiVersus equivalent, please? With very powerful strength and the ability to breathe fire, Godzilla is a force to be reckoned with, and I would love to play as him. And that pretty much sums up my list. Those are 10 characters I would want to see playable in MultiVersus. It took me a while to think about, but I think that's a pretty solid lineup. Let me know what you guys think about my list in the comment section below, and also post you guys' list. I'd love to read and rate them. If you did like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below. It helps me a lot. You can also feel free to subscribe if you like to keep up with my gaming content, or you can become a channel member for just $1 a month and get early access to new Let's Plays. And one more thing, be sure to check out this MultiVersus montage I made a while back. I played a Shaggy, and it's a really funny video. And that'll be a wrap, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm super excited for the future of MultiVersus. You all have a good day.